Hey guys, it is currently 11 p.m. Um, I am very tired, but I wanted to make this video for you guys. It's Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and just like how I said, I wanted to start recording Mondays and Fridays from now on. Um, just to work on my schedule. So let's go ahead and get to charting as soon as possible so I can go to bed as quick as possible. But before we start charting, I just want to let you guys know that, or I want to go over two trades that I took today. It's going to be AMD and Disney, and they were both winners. So once we get to those charts, we're gonna go ahead and talk about why I took that trade, how it played out, and my thought process on it. So let's continue with this charting video for today. So ES. I'm not too sure what we said about this one. I think we said most likely we were gonna see a pop. That obviously didn't happen. We got rejection today, a big rejection today. Um, so I would say I'd be neutral right now. Maybe we could see the start to the downside. But as of now, I would say I'm neutral. This could pop up depending on how the market wants to be tomorrow. So this could pop up. So yeah. Anyways, let's move on. Obviously today it went down. It rejected from resistance. Let's go on NQ. NQ. Same thing. We're gonna go ahead and change this to white because we're neutral on this. So let's go ahead and remove. We're neutral. Nothing. Not much of a setup for me to take a trade, to be honest. RTY. So, RTY, when did we make our last video? We made our last video, I think. Did we make it yesterday or Friday? I think I made the video Friday. Friday, so we're on the 8th. Okay, so I believe it was the 5th when we made the video. We said a dip buy, some sort of dip buy on this level. Um, so we haven't gotten that dip buy yet. Um, it, but we did get rejection today. We got some sort of double top from the top. So maybe we could possibly see some sort of dip buy tomorrow. But if the market has too much strength going to the downside, then you know I don't believe this can be a dip buy anymore. This might just blow right past it. But anyways, let's continue. Let's go to YM. Remember, guys, I'm trying to skim through this as fast as possible. I'm tired. I don't know if you guys can tell from my eyes, but I'm super tired. YM, YM has a is at a nice dip buy, but it also depends once again on the futures. So if the futures decides to sell aggressively, this can possibly be a nice short. But if we do get a pop tomorrow on the rest of the futures, yeah, we could see upside. But this is a perfect dip buy. It's all the way at the bottom. Pre-market is currently trading above the our dip buy level. So as of now, everything's pointing in the right direction for a dip buy, but overall, it just depends on how the market wants to be tomorrow. So let's move on. I'm not even gonna do oil. We don't do oil. Let's take a look at gold. Gold is a nice one. So right here, we have, like we said, here is our dip buy, but we're gonna be neutral. If anything, we're neutral, leaning more towards rejection. Um, but at the same time, it's I would say I'm still neutral. We get a dip. We have a dip buy level here, except it looks like there's a lot of selling strength. So tomorrow we might be able to see a crack to the downside or a pop. But my guess is that it's most likely going to be a crack to the downside. So let's move on. Let's go on to XLK. Same thing. I can't really chart this because of this stupid bar, but we see price was trending up today. We get that pullback from the futures this morning. So we take a look. We get our pullback. I wish okay, there we go. So we get the pop at the open along with the future, and then we get rejection. It obviously didn't reject as much as the futures. So technology sector could have a nice, can be pretty strong. Same thing for CRM. Same thing with strength. Today it popped up and then it went down, but this is all the way up here still. It's not like it rejected heavily. It only went down to 64 and ended up closing at 259. So about a $5 move. There's still a lot of strength in this for the upside. Microsoft, I really like Microsoft as well. This one is a trade. I was keeping an eye on this one as well. The only thing is that this one was a little more riskier because the NQ was at resistance, and like I said, it depends on how the futures want to be. But another thing that I haven't said yet is that there's a possibility that these tickers have more strength than the futures. So what I mean by that is just because I say NQ is at resistance, and if it rejects heavily from resistance, Microsoft, which is its top holder, which I think is at 10 or 12%, um, it will reject. That's not always the case. Sometimes it has a lot of strength to push the side it wants to push. For instance, today we get a nice push to the upside and a very small pullback at the top, even though the futures today had a huge red candle. Today it had a crazy rejection today from its resistance, and you guys might be wondering, oh, it rejected heavily, but Microsoft went up today. Why is that? It's because some tickers have more strength than the others. Sometimes the chart beats the charts beat the strength of, or the charts. I'm trying to piece it together to try and put it in the most simple terms possible, but basically what I'm trying to say is that not everything is going to go your way, and there's more to the market than what I tell you guys. But those are just some things that I will go over later on in future videos as we continue charting. So little by little, I'm gonna give you guys pieces of information about my thought process. So for today, like how I said, most likely we were gonna see a rejection from the futures, and that's exactly what happened. Obviously, Microsoft didn't follow because it had a lot of strength to the upside. Um, so yeah, this was a nice trade. I kept my eye on this. I didn't take the trade on this because, once again, it was pretty risky. Um, but it still would have been a nice trade. I'm happy with the trades I took today. Anyways, let's keep it going. Apple. Apple, to me, this is like a 50-50. There's a lot of rejection going on with between the past week. So my thoughts is that this might sell off from the open. This looks very bearish to me, but at the same time, we are at a dip level. So this could be a dip buy or an entry for shorts. Regardless, I honestly wouldn't be mad on what side you take because, like I said, this is more of a 50-50. Just to me, I'm leaning more towards shorts just because we're near all-time highs, I believe. Yeah, right here. I think this is all-time highs from this level. Well, previous all-time high, technically all-time highs, I believe this level right here. But anyways, so we reach all-time highs, and obviously, remember, it's more likely to keep going or to reject from all-time highs. I mean, just look at this move. It went up a ton. It's gonna get exhausted at one point, and it looked like that already happened, and it just happened to be at all-time high as well. So that's the most perfect place to put in for a short. and it's just been looking very bearish. I don't There hasn't even been a single green day um since, what is this, since the 2nd of December. So about 6 days ago, there hasn't been a green day on Apple. So this is very bearish. That's why I'm leaning more towards shorts. Okay, keep it going. Let's go faster. Google, what's going on with Google? Okay, so this could be a short for tomorrow, depending on where pre-market wants to be. So right here, let's take a look at this level. So why I choose this level? Because it's been ranging in this level for quite some time, since 11/25. So about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's been trending, or it's been going, accumulating around this level. And now, today, Google has cracked below that level. So if Google cannot reclaim that 314 level, which is this red level, so if you look at my cursor to the right, 314 right here. Um, so if we cannot reclaim that 314, this is a perfect entry for shorts. And guess what? Guess where we're at? We are at all-time highs. So you see, guys, all-time highs, perfect entry for the break to the downside. So this is definitely something I'm going to be looking at for tomorrow's price. Let's keep it going. Oracle, Oracle, same thing. Maybe this can be our dip buy. Let's change this to yellow. Let's remove this. Remove join. Let's keep that level because this one's actually a pretty good level. So yeah, we could get possible upside. This is a nice chart to look at. We were in a nice tight base. We got the bottom of pre-market right here, which would be our dip buy, and then the break of pre-market high, which happens to be resistance, and it's a very tight base, and it's trending upwards. So most likely, this is telling me that this is probably gonna go for longs. So let's go ahead and grab our trend line. Let's go ahead and grab this, put that right there, change this to green, and that'll be our entry. So there's that. Okay. Now that we did Oracle, go ahead and move on to Netflix. Netflix, I probably still wouldn't touch. I'm not sure when I drew this trend line, or this line. I'm not sure if it was last video or the video before. But obviously it played out in our favor if I put this rejection thing there. To be honest, I still wouldn't touch Netflix. Um, I wouldn't touch this. It had a split. So split just made it go crazy, or bad earnings as well. So it's just I'm not touching Netflix. Let's take a look at Meta. Meta, once again, wouldn't touch this at all. It is trending upwards nicely, but just me personally, not enough structure for me to enter this, at least for my liking. For my liking. Um, so we get IBM. So today, IBM, it ended up breaking from this level right here. I believe last time, since we have a white line right here, we said it's a 50-50, either shorts or long. Obviously today it went long and then pulled back to this level. So I would say tomorrow could definitely confirm whether this will be a retest for a continuation to the upside, or just a rejection and just gonna sell below. So still 50-50. Let's move on. Amazon, let's see. Okay, so we said calls for Amazon. It didn't go our way. This didn't play out good at all. But like how I always say, it is what it is. As of now, maybe this could still be a dip buy level, but maybe possibly just reject. So let's go ahead and remove these levels. And let's just change this to white, because we're now going to be neutral. Because if pre-market decides to recover and claim this level, then most likely we're going to see some upside. Or not. Maybe it can base where it's at now and then pop up. But as of now, I'm neutral. Okay, Amazon. Now let's go to Nvidia. Nvidia. Okay, so we set a short from here. That's not what happened. We ended up getting a long, which was a nice play. So maybe Yeah, maybe this could just be some sort of dip buy from here if it decides to pull back. Um, but yeah, so we didn't get that one. Oh well, there's plenty of other names out there that are good. So let's take a look at TSM. TSM, we said our dip buy is right here. Um, so yeah, our dip buy was right there. When we get that nice pop, we get that nice continuation. So that's a very nice trade. Let's just extend this. So yeah, nothing as of now, no move. So yeah, that's TSM. So now AMD. Let me show you this trade I took on AMD. Let's see. Let's go on the 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minute. What happened? So let me tell you guys how I took this trade. So we're in a tight base. Let's just look at the 4 hour really quick. We're in a tight base. Obviously, none of this happened yet. Well, we're in a tight base between my yellow line and my cursor. So, what does that tell me? We're sitting right on top of a retest, which is why our dip buy level is right there. So, hop on the 15. How did I trade this? What was my thought process behind this? Okay, we're in a tight base. Right at the open, we go up. We start trending upwards. We weren't trending upwards. We get the pop to the upside. So, where did I enter? I entered on this candle right there, on this pop. And I took profit. Okay, let me show you guys where. Okay, my entry right here. My exit right here. Okay, okay, something's not right with this. Let's okay. Uh, okay, I don't know why, but for some reason it reset. Okay, there you go. So that was our exit, and this was our entry. So we see that market popped, and then it aggressively pulled back. However, it wasn't able to break below pre-market low. Not only did it do that once, but it did it multiple times. Not only that, we're in a tight base, just like I always said, we're in a very tight base right now. And so it never cracked below pre-market low. So once I saw that, I said, okay, there's upside. This is a pretty risky move because the whole futures is pulling back. However, this one has some strength clearly because it hasn't broken below pre-market low. So I enter right here around this area. Just because I marked the red all the way at the bottom doesn't mean I got in exactly on that spot. I probably got in somewhere around here, or down here. To be honest, I really don't know. I completely forgot. But it's somewhere in this area. It's not all the way up here, not all the way down here, not this level, but it's somewhere in the middle. Regardless, I took a trade on this and I took it all the way up here to today's high, or to the previous high, which ended up still being today's high. And then obviously if I held, it would have broke way above. But anyways, that's not what happened. The thing is, I bought all the way down here, somewhere in this area, and sold it right there. The whole thing is that you don't want to be greedy in this market. Once greed takes over, you're going to get screwed over, guys. So that's why I took my exit right there. That was a great move. This was all the way from 219 all the way to 222. That is a great move. You don't need anything more than that. Um, and even then, I had a pretty tight stop loss. My stop loss was going to be about 20% of my contract, um, which obviously I never got stopped out. So this was a very nice trade. This was more of a patient trade and more, I would say, more of an experienced trade because there's a lot going on that you need to know to really piece together that this has enough strength to go up to the upside, which I will explain in more and further videos as we continue to chart. I gave you some information about strength already, so that's what I'm going to give you as of now. But for future videos, I'll give you more and more as we go through these. So yeah, there's that. There's my trade on that. Could have gotten more? Absolutely, but I don't care. I took my trade. I'm very happy with my trade. I made money. I didn't lose money. So what is there to complain about? But as of now, I would say maybe entry right at that pink level. But you know, it already ran up a ton, so maybe most likely futures is gonna decide what it wants to do. Okay, QCOM. QCOM is a nice one. QCOM, we get once again another tight base. We're just gonna have to go off our pre-market levels. Um, it's at resistance, so this may or not pop up. So as of now, I would say we're neutral, but leaning more towards the upside. Um, let's move on. Let's go to MU. MU. Our dip buy was on this level. Um, I believe we said that a while back, or maybe a couple days ago. I'm not too sure. Last video, I don't really remember. But regardless, um, no move for this. Maybe some sort of pullback to that level, that 242. But I still wouldn't trade that. The move is done. We called MU a while back. I think in like video in charting session number 4, like number 3 or something. I don't know. AVGO, most likely a short from this level. I probably still wouldn't touch that. Not enough structure yet. So let's move on. XLV. XLV. So we said on the previous video that most likely, or that we were neutral because it was trending downwards, coming down from all-time highs and rejected a lot. So we're at this dip buy level now. So what does that tell me? That tells me this can either just pop up or just keep going down depending on how much strength it has. But this is a perfect level to buy or a perfect level to sell. So let's move on. Johnson & Johnson. Most likely everything's going to be the same. So yeah, exactly the same. Johnson & Johnson, all-time highs, pulled back. We're now sitting on top of that dip level. So it's just going to depend on the sector whether it wants to break below or not. Let's look at Pfizer. Pfizer, it's not with the other names that we named, but it did make that pullback. Um, and it made that pullback to this base right here. So yeah, there's that. Well, now let's take a look at UNH. UNH was one that I was supposed to take today. But I didn't take it today because of its sector. And instead, I saw more and better value in Disney and AMD. So same thing as of now, I probably wouldn't trade this to be honest. Um, I'd probably trade more the sector or what was it? Johnson and Johnson. If I were to trade the health, but as of now, I probably wouldn't touch UNH. So yeah, let's continue moving on. Let's keep it going. XLF. Probably wouldn't touch it. Nothing much going on. Um, right there, we get that. We get the break of the base and a pullback right on top of that. Not enough structure for me to trade, at least comfortably. Um, JPM. Look at this. I can't chart this. We get the error candles going all the way down, so can't trade that. Same thing, Bank of America. It sucks because I really like the financial sector. The financial sectors are really good. Um, Goldman Sachs, no move. Just like how we've been saying, move already happened. It's too late to get in. Visa, no move for Visa. MA, I believe we said did buy on that area. Obviously, that didn't happen, so maybe this could reject. But it just depends. I'm probably neutral on this. Actually, I think I'm leaning more towards shorts to be honest. Just because it's been technically still hasn't really. I don't know. This one's a little tough, but I'm gonna go with um shorts. Let's go ahead and move on to MA. No, I'm sorry, Jets. Jets still running up. Most likely, the rest of the airline sectors are going to be trending upwards as well. Um, so as we see here from LUV, um, we're getting some rejection from these previous highs. Is this all-time highs? No, definitely not all-time highs. This could be a nice one. We're in a very nice space right now. But yeah, to be honest, still wouldn't buy. If anything, I'd probably get shares. Um, but even then it's still pretty risky because you're getting shares all the way at the top. So yeah, I probably wouldn't touch this. If anything, probably for shorts, DAL, same thing. Probably wouldn't touch this. We are in a very tight base, so I just go based off of pre-market levels, or at least this base from here. So let's do this. So I'd go based off of these bases right there. So whatever side it decides to break, that's the side you take. BA, BA. Okay, another error candle. Right here, that's a nice level to buy, but it ran up a ton today, so who knows? Maybe it might relax and push down. Um, this could have a lot of potential to the upside, but we already had a major move to the upside already, so it's a lot more riskier. UAL. UAL. So I believe last video we said most likely a rejection from here, and that's exactly what happened. Would I touch this? Probably not. Same thing, I just trade off of the base. Any crack, whether below or above, that's the side you take. XLE. So same thing, we were still trending. The whole sector is trending upwards. Error candle again. Can't really chart this. I hate these candles. So yeah. We try and get a break to the downside. I think I don't know, with these error candles on this platform recently, it's like I don't know if that's real price action or not. So it's a little difficult. Um, so anyways, let's continue. XOM, we're still trending. I would say now would probably be a perfect time to buy, or if you want to wait a little longer until it hits this white line right here. I would say here, let's just mark this yellow because technically this would be our dip buy. So yeah, it's still trending upwards. Nice, healthy trends. I would still take the upside. Maybe it'd be nice if you want shares or long-term options contract. So yeah, that's XOM, CBX, probably gonna do the same thing. Or not. Okay, never mind. So we said rejection from this level, and that's exactly what happened. We get that rejection. We're at, I would say, we're probably at a dip buy right now. But still, a little difficult. To be honest, probably still wouldn't touch this, but if I were to touch this, I'd go for longs, just because we're sitting at this level right here. So yeah. Let's take a look at Shell. Actually, let's not even look at Shell. Dip buy. That's a nice dip buy. Same thing. More neutral. I would say this is more of a dip buy, so I would probably get an options contract for longs, or if it cracks below that white level, I'd go in for shorts. So just basically play it off like that. Let's take a look at ARK. ARK. So we said we were gonna get a crack above. That's exactly what happened, and it looks like we got a retest over pre-market yesterday or Sunday, I believe this was, or yeah, or today actually, pretty much. So yeah, so as long as we can just stay above this level right here, now this turned into our dip buy level. So as long as it can hold above this level, we're going in for long. So now that we confirm that, we get a nice pullback from Tesla. And just like how last video we said, I wouldn't buy this unless it touches our dip buy level. Look at Tesla now. We are currently at the dip. Like how I said, it's not going to be perfect. It might not touch that. It might touch that and then drop a little bit below, or it might touch it and then just bounce up immediately. But as of now, I would say we're at that level, and I would say this is going to be a nice trade. So let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at Coinbase. Same thing. Our dip buy at this level. We're still at that dip buy. So, this can be a nice trade for tomorrow. So I guess we'll have to just wait and see. So let's take a look at Roblox. Roblox, I believe we said we might be getting a bounce on this level. Oh, never mind, it already happened. No move for Roblox as of now. I'm trying to, okay. Maybe we would get some type of dip buy right here, but it already happened today, so who knows if we'll get that tomorrow, or maybe right there. But as of now, I probably wouldn't buy this unless it goes all the way back down here to this 95.50 level. So let's go ahead and go to Shopify. Shopify, we said a break from this level, from this green level. We obviously didn't get that. It just happened over pre-market. So technically, I would say this trade failed. Let's go to Palantir. Same thing. We get that breakout. We get that breakout. So get the breakout. There's our dip buy for the upside. So yeah, nice move. Hopefully it can react off that level and then bounce. So that was Frontier. Now let's take a look at Disney. Disney, perfect trade. Look at that. So I believe last time we charted, we said that yellow level is our dip buy, and those pink targets is our targets. But unfortunately for me, I didn't hold all the way up there. Why? Because I got a contract for this week. Um, and I should have gotten a contract for next week, or at least 2 weeks out. But unfortunately, I didn't do that. But I'm not gonna beat myself over for it. I got a very nice trade on this. I still made money, so I'm not complaining. So, where did I enter? I entered as soon as it touched this yellow line. So, like I said, it's not always going to react perfectly. Sometimes it might go way below this and then go upward. Sometimes it might touch it and then go up. In this instance, it touched it, went a little bit below, and then climbed all the way back up and never saw this level again. So, why did I take this trade? We get a nice, tight, small base over pre-market. It went below pre-market low. It couldn't close. But remember, I said as soon as it touched this level, or I think as soon as it pulled back to this level, I'm not too sure if I got in, or I don't really remember if I got in exactly as soon as it hit, or if it pulled back a little bit, or if it bounced up a little bit and then when I got in. But regardless, I got in on this yellow level. So yeah, I took that with a stop loss, a very tight stop loss, to about right there. So about a 50 cent stop loss, something like that. Um, so yeah, and then I took the trade all the way until the previous day high. Why? Because it's the previous day high. You want to go off of those levels. So, but however, I got a contract expiring for this week. So, why wouldn't I take profit at the highs? This was, to be honest, one of my original take profits. And also these levels were my ideal take profits. Even though they hit, um, you know, it in my eyes, it's better to be safe than sorry, and especially since I didn't get contracts weeks out, this is the most logical answer. And not only that, Disney doesn't go up a lot. They usually make about $1 to $2 moves. So a move from all the way to 105 to 106 is a win in my book. Because what if it didn't want to do all of this today? What if it just wanted to do that and then go up to that and then just range the whole day like how it did the previous day? Obviously that didn't happen today. So that's why I took that trade. So I took it from this yellow all the way to the previous day high. And it was a nice trade. And as you can see here, if you just follow my cursor, it did go above and it tested right above that previous day high. And guess what happened? It hit this TP, and guess what? It tested on top of the TP and then shot right back up, hit second take profit, and that's where it couldn't really break above. So this was a very nice trade. Very beautiful trade. This one was very good. So that's the breakdown on that. Cat, no move. We're at all-time highs, I believe. Um, we got that. To be honest, I probably wouldn't even buy a dip right there. To be honest, I wouldn't touch this unless it's a short. Or in general, to be honest, I probably wouldn't touch this. Let's take a look at lows. Lows rejection from this. So I guess let's just make this white neutral. This may or may not pop up. We're already way below it, so maybe this could be a start of the shorts. So let's look at Home Depot. Home Depot, we get a nice pattern right here. Nice flag pattern. I would say the pattern is still valid. This may or may not crack up. However, let's just draw a line right here. Right here would probably be my short or long. So let's keep that white since we're neutral. Um, but it did try breaking below, and it did, and it sold. I mean, and it closed right above the level. So maybe this may or may not have the strength to continue to push up. So I'm more neutral on it, guys. Let's take a look at target. Target. Okay, last time I believe we said we were probably going to see some type of crack, and at the open today, we get a nice bullish candle. Okay, so this intraday, the first 15 minutes, it cracked below, and then it just reversed immediately. Why did it do that? No idea. Do I care? Nope. That's just the way the market plays sometimes. So yeah, there's that. However, I believe I did say I would probably get in on this for weeks out, for a contract for weeks out. So to be honest, I probably wouldn't even be looking at the 15-minute if I got contracts for weeks out. If it was more of a swing trade, I'd probably just stick to the 4 hour for my swing trades. And seeing this huge wick, seeing that, I probably would have gotten stopped out. But however, if I saw a V-shaped recovery in 20 minutes, I probably would have gotten right back in and then would have rode it all the way to the top. And probably I'd still probably hold on, to be honest, if I had contracts for weeks out. Let's take a look at Walmart. Walmart, no move. It already went up. But anything more likely for shorts, probably still wouldn't touch it. PayPal, wouldn't really touch this one as well. I would say it's still kind of in no man's land. Yeah, not worth touching. There's multiple other tickers that have better reward. XYZ, nothing much going on for XYZ. Maybe some type of dip buy from this level or a short. However, I would say I'm probably more neutral, to be honest. So I would say anything below, sell. Anything above is a long. So this could just go either way, to be honest. Let's just look at the bigger time frame. Let's see where we're at. So we are basically at the bottom. So this could be a potential to the upside. But still, same thing. XYZ was at $280 to now $61. So who even knows at this point? So let's take a look at Starbucks. Starbucks, I believe we said we were neutral. It rejected and rejected again today. Nice rejection. As of now, no move. But that's gonna be it for today's video. We had a 38-minute video today, so from now on I'm gonna try and keep it as short, just like today's video. So hopefully we can do that. We can continue to um continue to keep these videos short, under an hour at least. Um, but I like to give full breakdowns for you guys and more in detail. Just today I try to get it done as quick as possible. That way I can just go to bed. So yeah, that's gonna end it for today's video. So I'll catch up with you guys on Friday and we'll see how everything reacted. So remember, I'm gonna try and start recording from Mondays and Fridays just to fit my schedule more. So yeah, that's gonna end it for today's video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys learned something. Once again, comment down in the video if you guys would like me to explain something more, or in case in case I missed something, or in case you guys have any questions. Just feel free to comment and I'll answer you guys. So that's gonna end it. So see you guys Friday.